こんにちは、りょうです。今回は上級者に近づく会話フレーズ100選ということで、実際にネイティブが使うような会話フレーズを100個厳選して紹介したいと思います。実際に使っている場面も一緒に紹介しますので、ぜひ最後までご覧ください。それでは早速行きましょう。For the sake of 〇〇のために We need strict data rules for the sake of privacy.
Someone waltzing in thinking they know better and changing everything just for the sake of it.
For the sake of our relationship, into the future, I hope you're right.
Be second to none. Be second to none. 右に出るものがない。Our safety record is second to none in the industry.
Have no choice but to strive to be second to none in the nuclear arms race.
The state of Illinois will be second to none when it comes to the protection of victims.
Bear the brunt of. 被害を最も受ける。矢面に立つ。Coastal towns bear the brunt of the storm.
Your father must bear the brunt of your anger.
You understand there will be consequences, and Mr. Lawrence will bear the brunt of it because he was in a position of power over you.
Come to think of it. そういえば。Come to think of it, we never got his reply.
Come to think of it, I don't recognize any of this from Alice's sketchbook.
Come to think of it, I don't have any rules.
Come to think of it, Screwdriver would have been a better present than a...
Nothing short of. まさに〇〇に他ならない。The result was nothing short of miraculous.
This experiment is over, and nothing, short of an order from the king, could force me to recant.
Nothing short of inhumane.
Your incompetence is nothing short of unspeakable.
Breathe new life into. 活気を与える。The festival breathed new life into the town.
I want to set an ambitious course to modernize this country, to breathe new life into old institutions.
Rise up out of lethargy and breathe new life into the bowels of our soul.
Hit the nail on the head. 的を射る。Your comment hit the nail on the head.
Whoever carries the message has to hit the nail on the head.
You hit the nail on the head then.
You hit the nail on the head, Mr. Gustav.
Set the bar high. ハードルを高く設定する。Apple had set the bar high for design.
It set the bar high.
Yeah, he set the bar high, huh? But you really set the bar high for our 2-year anniversary.
Be mindful of 〇〇に配慮する。Be mindful of cultural differences.
Be mindful of your thoughts.
For what we are about to receive, may the Lord make us truly thankful, and may we always be mindful of the needs of others.
Must be mindful of John's dog.
Be mindful of your feelings.
Call it a day. 切り上げる。It's 7 p.m. Let's call it a day.
He says that they can't fix his car until they get another part, and it's going to be hours, so he says to just call it a day.
You know, this creep wants us dead so bad. Why doesn't he just put a bullet in our head and call it a day?
はい、ではここで復習です。For the sake of 〇〇のために Be second to none 右に出るものがない Bear the brunt of 被害を最も受ける Come to think of it そういえば Nothing short of まさに〇〇に他ならない Breathe new life into 活気を与える Hit the nail on the head 的を射る Set the bar high ハードルを高く設定する Be mindful of 〇〇に配慮する Call it a day 切り上げる By the same token 同様の理由で We need data by the same token transparency.
But by the same token, I'd like to know what law is it that says that a woman is a better parent simply by virtue of her sex?
By the same token, it's possible to tear out a blank check form and write
The last thing is want 最も避けたい The last thing we want is a data leak.
The last thing we want is for this to end up all over Al Jazeera.
The last thing we want to do is escalate the situation.
And the last thing we want to do is ask a little girl to make a grown-up decision.
Leave much to be desired. 物足りない The UI leaves much to be desired.
Oh, Mr. Davis, both your sense of community and your vocabulary leave much to be desired.
His worship's attention to the fact that the sanitary conditions of the harbour leave much to be desired.
Stand to reason 当然だ It stands to reason that demand will rise.
Since I am a member of the family, it would stand to reason that I would get a vote in whether or not...
Even if you wipe out a man's memory, doesn't it stand to reason that his brain is the same?
On short notice 急な通知で Thanks for coming on short notice.
It was a long flight, on short notice, and I like to focus too.
Only part to say your D come out of serious counterattack on short notice?
I found it on short notice.
To that end その目的のために We need funds. To that end, we'll issue bonds.
I've had no verbal or written instructions to that end.
To that end, we are preparing the fake documents for the briefcase now.
Go a long way toward. Go a long way toward. 〇〇に大いに役立つ。Early education goes a long way toward equality.
The grant, that is, will go a long way toward funding the new programming that I'm working on for KRE.
And I would imagine it would go a long way toward keeping that low profile of yours.
Up in the air. Up in the air. 未確定. Our budget is still up in the air.
Yeah, so it was like sort of up in the air.
Light years ahead. Light years ahead. 〇〇より遥か先. Their chip is light years ahead of ours.
You'd be light years ahead of all the other guys.
You know, our chair technology is light years ahead of yours.
We are light years ahead of everybody.
Raise eyebrows. Raise eyebrows. 顰蹙を買う. The bonus raised eyebrows amid layoffs.
Someone finds this with pages missing. I could raise eyebrows.
はい、ここで復習です。By the same token, 同様の理由で The last thing is want. 最も避けたい Leave much to be desired. 物足りない Stand to reason. 当然だ On short notice. 急な通知で To that end. その目的のために Go a long way toward. 〇〇に大いに役立つ Up in the air. 未確定 Light years ahead. 〇〇より遥か先 Raise eyebrows. 顰蹙を買う Walk a fine line. 紙一重である We must walk a fine line between safety and privacy.
You walk a fine line.
You walk a fine line between optimism and stupidity, my friend.
I think that can become trite, but I think you walk a fine line and you walk...
Have mixed feelings about. Have mixed feelings about. 複雑な思いがある I have mixed feelings about AI hiring.
I used to have mixed feelings about being part of Dad's art, but now I kind of love it.
I really have mixed feelings about this.
I have mixed feelings about being a parent.
Come into play. Come into play. 作用し始める Tax incentives come into play next April.
And that's when model turned actress and cool Asian guy come into play.
There's a variety of factors that would come into play.
Sure, that will come into play.
That would come into play in the event that the networks went.
Fall short of expectations. Fall short of expectations. 期待に届かない The IPO fell short of expectations.
There's a sense in which on the left, it's so easy to fall short of expectations. So easy.
Robert Jervis writes that when people fall short of expectations of themselves, they're less happy.
Weather the storm. Weather the storm. 苦境を乗り切る SMEs must cut costs to weather the storm.
Can Britain weather the storm of invasion?
If they weather the storm.
We're gonna weather the storm.
You just have to weather the storm and wait it out.
How did you weather the storm?
In light of 〇〇を鑑みて In light of new evidence really open the case.
In light of the dark events of recent weeks, Professor Dumbledore has granted me permission to start this little dueling club, to train you all up.
I've been sent down to take over from Chief Willoughby in light of last night's unfortunate event.
Go hand in hand with. Go hand in hand with. 〇〇と密接に関連する Innovation goes hand in hand with risk.
Decay and corruption go hand in hand with defeatism and lack of action.
Cuts out the time-wasting questions that usually go hand in hand with these situations.
Be subject to 〇〇の影響を受ける〇〇の対象となる Prices are subject to change.
You'll be subject to the full penalty of law.
And at which time, Mr. Corleone, you may very well be subject to indictment for perjury.
Tip the scales. 形勢を左右する Cost tip the scales in favor of option B.
No matter how far we tip the scales our way, no matter how many of them we turn dark.
Figure I'd use what I got, try and tip the scales a little.
Bite the blade. 覚悟を決めて困難に耐える We had to bite the blade and cut stuff.
Just have to bite the bullet on this thing, Clive.
You gotta just bite the bullet on this thing.
Yeah.
はい、ここで復習です Walk a fine line 紙一重である Have mixed feelings about 複雑な思いがある Come into play 作用し始める Fall short of expectations 期待に届かない Weather the storm 苦境を乗り切る In light of 〇〇を鑑みて Go hand in hand with 〇〇と密接に関連する Be subject to 〇〇の影響を受ける〇〇の対象となる Tip the scales 形勢を左右する Bite the blade 覚悟を決めて困難に耐える Cutthroat competition 熾烈な競争 E-commerce is a cutthroat market.
Sport is cutthroat competition in which no throats are cut.
You think fear tactics and cutthroat competition yield better results?
With business falling and cutthroat competition like Violet.
Call it quits call it quit 関係作業を終わりにする They call it quit after 10 years
Maybe we should call it quits right now.
So perhaps we should just call it quits.
Wendy and I finally decided to call it quits, you know, and
worth one salt 能力に見合う価値がある Any analysis worth her salt checks the raw data
So let's see if you're worth your salt, Chief.
You're an unsteady, impractical dreamer not worth your salt.
If you're worth your salt as a right to your back.
Jump on the bandwagon 流行に乗る Bland jumped on the bandwagon
Jump on the bandwagon.
If we don't, every other loopy in town's gonna jump on the bandwagon and we'll find ourselves knee-deep in a slaughterhouse.
And 9 million that will jump on the bandwagon after the first gold medal.
Face the music 結果罰を受け入れる He falsified data and had to face the music
Alright, Mincy Fableman, time to face the music.
Face the music, pricks.
We must face the music.
Time to face the music, Dom.
Hold water 筋が通る His argument doesn't hold water
Your cover story's not gonna hold water.
Does the defense's case hold water?
Gain traction 勢いを増す Extract tracks are gaining traction
Until projects like this gain traction, the Community Services Department has tight purse strings.
I know you are trying to gain traction and recognition for your career.
Jump through hoops 面倒な手続きをこなす Startups jump through hoops for funding
We jump through hoops to make sure that Bolt believes everything is real.
I'm not gonna jump through hoops tonight just because of this.
Day in, day out 毎日のように He commutes day in, day out
That's all we get, day in, day out around this place. I can't imagine doing that, day in, day out.
Jump the gun 早まる Releasing beta now would be jumping the gun
I gotta get set, so don't jump the gun.
Now, tell mate, Jesus Christ, don't jump the gun here. What?
Did we jump the gun here?
Don't want to jump the gun until we wail.
でここで復習です Cutthroat competition 熾烈な競争 Call it quits 関係作業を終わりにする Worth one salt 能力に見合う価値がある Jump on the bandwagon 流行りに乗る Face the music 結果罰を受け入れる Hold water 筋が通る Gain traction 勢いを増す Jump through hoops 面倒な手続きをこなす Day in, day out 毎日のように Jump the gun 早まる Out of question 論外 A price increase is out of question
Best becomes you. For out of question you were born in a merry hour. And to be merry best becomes you. For out of question you were born in a merry hour.
No. Out of doubt and out of question too.
Tip of the iceberg 氷山の一角 Plagiarism cases are just the tip of iceberg
Only at the tip of the iceberg.
This is only the tip of the iceberg.
But all you can see is the tip of the iceberg of the present, the tedious here and now.
Make ends meet 収支を合わせる Many gig workers struggle to make ends meet
He's trying to make ends meet for his cut and welfare.
And what do you do to make ends meet?
He's trying to make ends meet.
Cut corners 手を抜く They cut corners and used shoddy steel
If the deadline was tight and I had to cut corners, I had no paperwork at all.
But you should know, Mr. Cray has cut corners and ignored sound science to get where he is.
So, yeah, I'm sure you can understand our need to cut corners around here.
In the driver's seat 主導権を握って After the merger, they're in the driver's seat
And then we put Big Pharma in the driver's seat. Aim directly at profit. Dangerous spot, but he also is in the driver's seat. And as long as he can hold the line, I think he'll emerge.
That you'll be left feeling more in the driver's seat of your food choices. Hopefully, though.
Hit the ground running 出だしから全力で動く New hires need to hit the ground running
You hit the ground running, you don't look back, huh?
The record label really hit the ground running too.
First, when he does become eligible next year, I want him to hit the ground running.
In over one's head 手に負えない She's in over her head with 3 projects
This is where I feel like I'm in over my head with this. Try 2 hands.
You know, I have to say, I'm really deep in over my head now. But I'm
Cast out on 疑問を投げかける New data cast out on the findings
A statement that cast out on her original testimony.
You said you needed something on the record that would cast doubt on her original testimony.
At face value 額面通りに Don't take statistics at face value
I'll take that at face value.
Please, let's take John's story at face value and explore it from that perspective.
Cannot afford to take mythology at face value.
Bridge the gap. Bridge the gap. 溝を埋める。Mentorship bridges the gap.
Power. And begin to bridge the gap between science and religion.
Get the investment banks to bridge the gap.
はい、ここで復習です。Out of question. 論外。Tip of the iceberg. 氷山の一角。Make ends meet. 収支を合わせる。Cut corners. 手を抜く。In the driver's seat. 主導権を握って。Hit the ground running. 出だしから全力で動く。In over one's head. 手に負えない。Cast out on. 疑問を投げかける。At face value. 額面通りに。Bridge the gap. 溝を埋める。On the verge of. 〇〇寸前で。The species is on the verge of extinction.
On the verge of something great. Ultimate truth.
I'm on the verge of graduation.
I was on the verge of telling you last night.
Stick to one's guns. 信念を曲げない。She stuck to her guns despite pressure.
So you gotta stick to your guns now.
Stick to your guns.
You know your mind and you stick to your guns.
Heads up. Heads up. 予告注意喚起。Just a heads up. Audit next week.
In a heads-up match, the size of your stack is almost as important as the quality of your cards.
Hit the snack. Hit the snack. 予期せぬ障害にぶつかる。We hit the snack with permissions.
We've hit a snag. I don't mean to say that our merger has hit a snag.
Lose one's touch. Lose one's touch. 腕が鈍る。Have I lost my touch at coding?
I lose my touch, man.
I lose my touch.
Have the upper hand. Have the upper hand. 優勢である。Suppliers have the upper hand now.
You know, to let them think they have the upper hand.
They have the upper hand. And from that moment on, you know you have the upper hand.
Get the hang on. Get the hang of. コツをつかむ。You get the hang of TikTok as soon.
Because basically, the snowcat operates very much like a car, and it won't take you long to get the hang of it.
Do you know, I think I'm beginning to get the hang of this flying business.
Cut the chase. Cut the chase. 要点に入る。Let me cut to the chase. We need cash.
Wait, I will cut to the chase.
Will you cut to the chase?
Let's cut to the chase, please.
At odds with. At odds with. 〇〇と対立して。Figures are at odds with last year's data.
I'm at odds with everything.
Self-imposed exile, cultural exile, because the way they thought and lived was totally at odds with the zeitgeist of their respective countries.
Almost at odds with mourning.
Carve out niche. Carve out niche. ニッチを開拓する。They carved out a niche in vegan snacks.
And then carve out a niche in helping the industry move.
Particularly a public institution has got to carve out a niche for its.
はい、ここで復習です。On the verge of 〇〇寸前で Stick to one's guns 信念を曲げない Heads up 予告注意喚起 Hit the snag 予期せぬ障害にぶつかる Lose one's touch 腕が鈍る Have the upper hand 優勢である Get the hang of コツをつかむ Cut to the chase 要点に入る At odds with 〇〇と対立して Carve out a niche ニッチを開拓する Take a toll on Take a toll on 悪影響を及ぼす Long hours take a toll on mental health
All of the bouncing around really started to take a toll on me, so I decided it was time to come back.
Our environment starts to take a toll on our personality.
Bring something to the table. Bring something to the table. 貢献をもたらす. She brings solid data skills to the table.
I think you definitely bring something to the table.
Charisma.
It has been a year, darling, and to be absolutely honest, it would really help if you could bring something to the table, so to speak.
Hit the ceiling. Hit the roof. 激怒する物価急騰 Paying hit the roof over tuition hikes.
He is going to hit the roof.
Almost hit the roof, you can imagine.
She's gonna hit the roof when she sees this.
Sit on the fence. Sit on the fence. 判断を保留する Some members still sit on the fence.
Hard to sit on the fence, I'd imagine.
God himself said, be for me or against me, but don't sit on the fence, son.
See the bigger picture. See the bigger picture. 対局を見る Let's step back and see the bigger picture.
I'm disappointed you can't see the bigger picture.
The thing is, I'm trying to persuade mine to see the bigger picture. Lets you see the bigger picture.
On the flip side, その一方で The pay is low. On the flip side, the hours are flexible.
You make it work. And on the flip side, I've also experienced...
On the flip side, however, this levelly saturated fat is going to...
But on the flip side, there's a lot of risk involved in that.
Go south. Go south. 状況が悪化する Sales went south after a scandal.
With crap like that in your mouth, the game's gonna go south.
Cut to the bone. cut to the bone 徹底的に削減する They cut cost to the bone to survive
Cuts, but the bottom line is we can't cut to the bone without also generating some revenue.
This place, this commons where we can go to and say, okay, you know, how good is this really?
Out of pocket 自腹で持ち出しで Consultants are paid, but travel is out of pocket.
I mean, I can give you a refill of your prescription if you want to do it out of pocket. So if you want to do it out of pocket,
and you won't be out of pocket and you won't have to publish the story.
Pitch in 協力する手伝う Everyone pitch in to meet the deadline.
You know, you're all there, you all pitch in whenever you need to. I just hate it that I can't pitch in.
はい、ここで復習です。低下討論、悪影響を及ぼす Bring something to the table貢献をもたらす Hit the ceiling, hit the roof 激怒する物価急騰 Sit on the fence 判断を保留する See the bigger picture 対局を見る On the flip side その一方で Go south 状況が悪化する Cut to the bone 徹底的に削減する Out of pocket 自腹で持ち出しで Pitch in 協力する手伝う Take the plunge 思い切って行動する She finally took the plunge and quit
If I don't take the plunge now, I never will
Vincent, if you're going to take the plunge, give yourself a fair shake.
Up and running 稼働している The new server is up and running
Once we get the windmill up and running, it'll help.
Very nice man said he could have it up and running in a week and he takes cash.
As it stands 現状では As it stands, the plan is too costly
As it stands, I cannot see we have much hope of getting any of our forces out in time.
But as it stands, if you behave...
Chew over じっくり考える Let's chew over the proposal tonight
There's something I want to chew over with Mike here.
You need an edge, something will chew over the top.
And a clouse you left behind to give him something to chew over and all.
Be all ears 熱心に聞く I'm all ears, tell me your idea
I'll be all ears.
Just gotta be all ears.
Look, if I was to get an anonymous tip, I'd be all ears and no mouth. And then you're like...
Run the numbers 試算する We'll run the numbers before deciding
Informed us that they had run the numbers and the tax benefit.
I've run the numbers.
Run the numbers!
Cut someone some slack 多めに見る寛大に扱う She's new, cut her some slack
Cut her some slack. Gotta cut her some slack, help her out.
I think you should cut her some slack.
Pay off 努力が報われる成果が出る Month of training finally paid off
I knew those French lessons would pay off one day.
Get ahead of oneself 先走る Let's not get ahead of ourselves We need data first
Get ahead of yourself there, Jason.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Maggie.
Don't get ahead of yourself,
Raise the stakes 危険度重要度を高める Leaking the plan would raise the stakes
Let's raise the stakes.
Let's raise the stakes. Make things a bit more serious for Mr. Ding.
If you can have anything you want in this world, you have to raise the stakes or life gets boring.
はい、ここで復習です。Take the plunge 思い切って行動する Up and running 稼働している As it stands 現状では Chew over じっくり考える Be all ears 熱心に聞く Run the numbers 試算する Cut someone some slack 多めに見る寛大に扱う Pay off 努力が報われる成果が出る Get ahead of oneself 先走る Raise the stakes 危険度重要度を高める Ride it out じっと耐える Let's ride out the downturn without layoffs
It's too risky and ride it out. I'm gonna ride it out.
Can't we just ride it out here?
We'll ride it out from here and wait.
Make a point of ing Make a point of ing 必ず〇〇するよう心がける I make a point of backing up files daily
You can make a point of ending your relationship in a manner that does not include...
To make a point of invoicing them, though they were never expected to pay.
And I would make a point of it.
On a tight budget 予算限られて We are on a tight budget, so no trouble
I thought you were on a tight budget.
I hear Douglas keeps her on a tight budget.
So that tells me it's been run on a tight budget.
Go out of one's way わざわざ骨を折る She went out of her way to help me
Even if you weren't in my food chain, I would go out of my way to attack you.
I go out of my way for you!
I wouldn't go out of my way to hang out with you now.
Be in the works 進行中である計画されている A new policy is in the works
To be honest, the plan may already be in the works.
Because you never have any idea what's going to be in the works.
Be up in arms 憤慨している Residents are up in arms about the noise
I was just worried that your grandma would be.
up in arms about us being friends.
Everyone and his grandmother will be up in arms.
People will be up in arms against Zorro.
Touch base. Touch base. 軽く連絡を取る。Let's touch base next week on progress.
But we would like to touch base with you on one or two ideas.
Drop the ball. Drop the ball. ヘマをする。ミスる。We drop the ball on customer service.
On the other hand, if you drop the ball,
they didn't drop the ball.
See it coming. See it coming. 予見する。予想する。No one saw the crisis coming.
Where's see it coming? The point is, the cardiologist can see it coming.
Keep a low profile. Keep a low profile. 目立たないようにする。He kept a low profile after the scandal.
Maybe he wanted to keep a low profile.
So, girls, I think the best approach is to keep a low profile at the next comp.
はい、ここで復習です。Write it out. じっと耐える。Make a point of ing. 必ず〇〇するよう心がける。On a tight budget. 予算が限られて。Go out of one's way. わざわざ骨を折る。Be in the works. 進行中である。計画されている。Be up in arms. 憤慨している。Touch base. 軽く連絡を取る。Drop the ball. ヘマをする。ミスする。See it coming. 予見する。予想する。Keep a low profile. 目立たないようにする。Get cold feet. おじけづく。直前で尻込みする。She got cold feet and canceled the talk.
And just so you don't get cold feet?
Most of our guests get cold feet on their first mornings.
Sometimes men just get cold feet.
Rule something out. Rule something out. 可能性を排除する。Doctors rule out infection after the test.
You can't rule something out just because you got a whim or you thought the bitch was fine.
I need another sample to rule something out.
Pick someone's brain. Pick someone's brain. 知恵を借りる。Can I pick your brain about CEO strategy?
He was wondering if you could meet him tomorrow for coffee so that he could pick your brain.
You know, I'd love to sit down with you and just pick your brain. If you'd ever be...
Give or take. Give or take. おおよそ前後して。We'll need 10 days, give or take.
Give or take just a few minutes.
Give or take a few thousand. I figured the loot on this deal at...
Just for about a year, give or take a few days.
Step up one's game. Step up one's game. レベルを上げる。本腰を入れる。Competitors are fierce. We need to step up our game.
Step up your game, Scott.
No, I think you just have to step up your game.
Hillary, you're gonna have to step up your game.
Sit well with. Sit well with. 〇〇に受け入れられる。腑に落ちる。The new policy doesn't sit well with employees.
Did not sit well with law enforcement.
Doesn't sit well with that badge. And don't sit well with us.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. 誤解しないでくれ。悪く取らないで。Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful, but we still have issues.
And don't get me wrong, I was looking.
Don't get me wrong.
I'm on it. I'm on it. 任せといて。今やるところ。The server's down. I'm on it.
I'm on it.
I told you already, I'm on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it.
Give me a break. Give me a break. 勘弁してくれ。ありえない。Another delay? Give me a break.
Give me a break, will you?
Give me a break.
Give me a break here, okay?
Suit yourself. Suit yourself. 好きにしな。勝手にどうぞ。If you don't want my help, suit yourself.
Suit yourself.
Suit yourself?
Suit yourself.
はい、では最後の復習です。Get cold feet. おじけづく、途中で尻込みする。Rule something out. 可能性を排除する。Pick someone's brain. 知恵を借りる。Give or take. おおよそ前後して。Step up one's game. レベルを上げる。本腰を入れる。Sit well with. 〇〇に受け入れられる。腑に落ちる。Don't get me wrong. 誤解しないで。I'm on it. 任せといて今やるところ。Give me a break. 勘弁してくれ。ありえない。Suit yourself. 好きにしな。勝手にどうぞ。はい、お疲れ様でした。いかがでしたでしょうか。ぜひ英語学習に疲れたら、英語字幕だけで洋画を定期的に見る習慣もつけてみてください。改めて結構聞き取れない英語とかセリフがあると思うので、こういった洋画とか、あとは音楽を聴きながら英語学習を楽しみながらぜひ継続してみてください。今回の動画は以上になります。